right, as always, let's start with some bucket fills. What's good? Where is everybody today?
You're outside already.
All right, what's good? What's good?
I just want to say, I'm really thankful for how many people have reached out to me to see how I was doing this week. And it was a rough day. Danielle even came out and brought me flowers and said goodbye. And it just like, I feel very blessed for how many people have reached out to me.
Something in case she had to put her dog down yesterday, so it's been a rough week. Yeah, that's kind of what makes this office special, right? Is we're there for each other. What else? What else is good?
Maureen bought me cookies.
How do we get on that?
They were delicious.
I'll double that too. Thank you very much.
All right, what else?
Sherry and I would like to thank a new realtor here. Her name is Alex. She is doing an open house for us in Buffalo on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
She got a Frenchie too, did you know that?
Right. Oh.
She's got a little new puppy, a little white Frenchie called Vanna White. She will be coming in soon and Pup will be meeting her, so. You
And
just
I'll fall in
keep a
love.
potato at home. Pup means the first introduction. Emily, best
Live
friend.
together forever.
Come in.
So, yeah.
All right, what else is good?
I'm gonna bucket fill, well, everyone in this office for having an awesome month last month. I'm so excited about this numbers meeting. And then also Heather and Lydia, because they took, well, they helped with 54 listings compared to 26 last April. So that's a lot of work for them. So good job, like doing all of that,
Lots of work.
keeping us all in line. So,
But they're just amazing.
yeah, bucket fill.
All right, what else?
I have a couple things. One is thanks to Colleen who let us do, like, she had an open house. Its first weekend open was last weekend and it was already had a contract on it before we got there, but she let us hold it open and that was great for us. So got some good leads from that, and that was Maddie and I. And thanks to everybody who came out for Red Day. It's just always fun to just be there and doing something together, and that was a lot of fun. And then Mother's Day was awesome. I got, I remember being at the stage with my kids where I just thought I would never have a moment for breath to myself. And now I have adult kids and all I want is to have them over all day long. And I got it on Sunday. I hosted brunch and they hung out. My son left at 9:30 and my heart was so full. So that was a good thing.
See, mine are at the age where I just say, it's Mother's Day, you have to do that.
Bye.
And then they do it. That's great. That's a great age. Good.
How many bucket fills for Red Day did we have? Just
I
one?
think we just had one.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoever coordinated the city of Minnetonka, that was really fun, better than painting fences.
Candy and Rob.
It was great. And then also the Scream Lending team for the appetizers afterwards at Northern Tap House.
That
That
was
was
fun
good.
gathering afterwards too.
There was
Yeah.
we had like the whole patio was like us, so.
Yeah, it was super fun.
They really got after it too, working hard.
I'm still impressed with your
Hedge trimmer.
hedge trimmer. I like when you're like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore, we're just getting this out. It was so perfect.
I get a little crazy sometimes.
I should have brought my sauce.
What else? What else
They
we
wouldn't
got?
let you do that.
I have some fun news. I don't know if Candy and Lydia even looked at the numbers, but we are number 3 in the region for net agent. And that's huge. That's a huge thing. And we haven't gotten a ton of outside agents, so Candy's been working really hard on referrals that you guys have been giving, quite honestly, which is I don't think you guys know how much we appreciate that, right? Because one, you're introducing people to the industry and they're excited about it because they see you guys doing it. But what was it? Like 10 referrals that have actually turned this year, from
Oh.
Payscore. So, I mean, when you do that, it really helps a lot. And Edina is in second place for net, so, we'd really like that not to happen. First, so, we're just gonna move on up throughout the year on that one. I'm like, that's the biggest number, right? Because that means that people are still staying. Obviously, gross is too, but, that's even bigger, so. Really fun. It's really fun. And we, it's a ton of work for Candy to do. All right. The numbers meeting is gonna be super fun, by the way, because this was a huge month. I don't know if you guys saw the post that we put out about what kind of the commissions were like. It was record breaking for 1.6 in GCI. I mean, there were huge numbers, that came out last month. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to go through. Before that though, let's talk about some of the training. So we have our weekly block party, which is the first one. It's every other week. So put it in your calendar as today, and then every other week we'll have a block party, either outside or inside, depending on what, the sponsor brings. Today it's getting put on by the ALC. I think they're gonna be, are they out there already starting stuff, or they will be soon?
Yeah.
In the grilling portion of it. So right after this, we'll go down into the parking lot and have some food and conversation. We also have our R&R tonight, which is a topic that is incredibly important right now. Not only, are the top agents experiencing this, but so are the agents that are new to the business and the agents kind of in the middle. Rick had said the topic was going to be how to keep, moving forward with lead generation and creating a larger pipeline when you're busy right now. It is honestly across the board a conversation that's not just happening in this market center. This morning I had a recruiting appointment and the same thing, where it's like, how do you keep that lead generation going, while being busy, right? That is at Yard House, which is in St. Louis Park. It's gonna start at 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock. Sometimes it goes over, so, we'd love to see you there because the conversation is really great. We do have title knowledge that's tomorrow, which will be Great North putting that on at 11 o'clock here. And then in regards to lead generation, Bethany Nelson Group is having a lead gen, night tomorrow night. So if at any point there's been conversations on, I don't know what. They can't.
Doing it all day and that's fine.
Okay, so they're doing it during the day. But if you ever have like, I don't know who to call, I don't know what to say. Even if you just sit there and eavesdrop on some of those conversations, is well worth the time to be able to listen to that group do that. And maybe bring, your own list, of people in your sphere to call. Database 101 next week, free CE, which if you're not done with that, which I'm guessing most of you are not, because we're real estate agents, that is next Thursday. And then we're closed on Memorial Day, which is the 27th. We have another free E the following Thursday and our, bi-weekly block party on the 29th. Yeah.
So I will be sending out an email later today on how to check your CE. So please go on there. It's super easy. You need to know your last name, your license number, and your social security number. And it pulls up what you still need, what you have completed. If you have any questions when you look at it, definitely let me know, but I'll send out the instructions on like how to check it.
Will you be sending that only to the people who do not have theirs completed?
No, I'll send it to everybody. So if you know you have yours completed, great. That's.
I would
awesome.
check it again, just to make sure, right?
I check mine like all the time. Like, did anything leave? Is it still right? And then, starting next month is when we, have the green light to start renewing. And then we know like who's totally done. But us as a leadership team start checking that next month. So, but I will send it out to everybody. So on just like how to check it.
Thank you. And I know that people might get annoyed by the emails or non-emails, right? But it is a very serious thing when your license is lapsed because of CE, right? Because I can guarantee when that happens, which it has happened to me in my earlier years, I was immediately frustrated and upset on why my listings got taken off. I couldn't do anything on North Star. That is not the Market Center's fault. That is because you didn't get your CE and we cannot do anything about that. That is all on MAR. So as annoying as it might be to keep talking about CE, it is not because they're ever done fully by everybody before June. Okay, so if you get frustrated, take the frustration out on me, not Candy. Because she is just making sure that you're gonna have your license throughout June and July versus having to wait for it. Is that fair? And if we all got it done in like February, we wouldn't even have this, but we don't. All right, moving on. This is you. Oh, huh. I'm done.
All right, so I got this the last month, but I want to give this to somebody that a lot of times I get involved in something, I get over my head, I get kind of panicked, and I can always, I don't always go to him, but I've gone to him many times, and he calms me down, he takes the time to kind of give me more direction.
I love the fact you could get panicked.
Yeah, I know, seriously, I've got myself like, can I show it, can I take, showing time and all this stuff, I made some mistakes. Got through it, but he kind of does the, like, gives me the little demonstrate, he starts talking to me, and kind of goes, well, yeah, you do this, what I talk about. But-
Yeah.
So he kind of just does a, he kind of gets me all settled down, but it's funny, but I really appreciate it. I don't know if he's not here, but this is for Derek Steinbach.
Nice.
So well. Yeah.
He's outside grilling hot dogs.
He's always the calm. Like, he's the
Yes.
calm for
No, he's
sure.
not.
I don't even think he's online. Sometimes he'll be online at the pool or something, but he's not. He's on like true vacation this time.
He's probably on a sailboat.
No, I think he's
Different
at,
country.
he's in Bahamas. Yeah, Nassau. All right, so we've got some new faces. And a lot of times, you'll see the faces and you might not be able to put a name to it, but make sure that you introduce yourself, right? Because it's probably scarier to be the new agent that doesn't know you versus vice versa. And if you don't know the names and you can't remember this, just introduce yourself and say, hey, I know you're new, or I haven't seen you. I'm such and such. So, and there's more and more new faces coming in, which is super fun. We are actually growing quite a bit this year, which is an exciting thing to have in the Market Center. All right, and cappers, we have quite a few cappers this month. So we have Royce, we have Donovan.
Oh.
They have 100% of their commission until the next April. So that's a pretty, or I guess whenever their anniversary date is. So that's a huge deal. So congratulations to everybody. All right, April numbers. I want to hear clapping this month because there's some really cool things that happen.
Do we have the clappers?
No, I got the clappers taken away from me because it was too loud. So I stole them from my office. I could probably get them again though, if we need. All right, so listings taken for individuals. We've got Julie Berman with two. All right, closed volume, we have Jacob Milton at 1. We have Jacob. Top individual teams. We've got the Strobel Group with 4 listings. Closed volume, Strobel Group with 1 million. We have closed with Coleman Company number 1. All right, top teams, listings taken. We have the exceptional home. closed volume. Okay, Dave Murray Enterprise at 2.8. Closed GCI, we have Dave Murray Enterprise with the number 1 spot. All right, so top groups, we have Bethany Nelson Real Estate Group with 8. All right, so can we talk about this? And I know people are gonna be, oh, some are new construction, some are not, yada, 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 right? When listings start rising, who gets market share and what is this shift with these teams or these groups? I know what it is because I talked to most of them, is to get more listings, right? So when you shift that focus, what happened? We have never had this many from like the group section, right, across the board, where, I mean, it goes from 8, 7, 7, 7, 5, and 3. Which means, again, we are getting more and more market share around the area, which then allows opportunity. So if you're a new agent, I can guarantee that if these are all of the new listings, they cannot do all of these open houses, right? This gives opportunity for you to get in front of more buyers as well, which makes this meeting and then after this, a time for you to talk and engage with each of those teams. Say, hey, how can I help or how can I be a part of it, right? Those numbers are amazing. All right, so listings taken volume, we have 8.9. We also talk about when you take that much volume and listings are lacking, what's that gonna look like in the months to come? Right. Most likely they're going to sell, correct? All right, closed volume, we have the terrific team at 11.8. That is absolutely incredible across the board, like incredible. Right? I mean, like you said, I mean, we had April numbers that were absolutely insane. And if you're wondering where this business came from, go ask them, right? Because it was probably 90 days back, if not more than that. And it's time to capitalize on that portion of it and introduce yourself if you're like, hey, how do you make that happen in April? Because that's not what April was across the board, by the way, which what we'll see. There was not this huge uptake for agents in their businesses. So that's huge. Congratulations, you guys. Closed GCI, we've got Ceramic team in the number 1 spot. All right, listings taken for April, Stedman KW Commercial with 1 listing taken. All right, so let's talk about these numbers. Do you remember what we said, what month that we were going to be all positive in?
That was April, right?
That was April.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Guys, this didn't like randomly happen,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're all positive. All positive.
Just positive.
We are all largely positive, which is huge. It's super, super incredible. And again, it's not because the market is just like taking off, right? Because the conversations I'm having, coaching and consulting agents, is not that. There is still struggle and there's quite a bit of struggle, right? It's a very different market than it has been the last few years. So I'm really proud of you guys, and I don't know if it just is because we talked about this and it's important to you as well. But it's really important to me, because without you guys, this is not a market center, right? So these aren't the market center's numbers, it's your numbers. And it means that you're putting in a ton of work. And honestly, last month was also the largest month of agents in productivity. I think we were at,
Was it-
I want to say 46%, which was the highest that we've been all year, which means that 46% of our agents were closing deals. It's not just the top agents doing it. It's not just the normal agents doing it. There were 46% of agents closing transactions last month, which is incredible. I would still love to see it at 55, and we're gonna get there. But it just takes time. So I'm really proud of you. So closed units, we are up 7.9%. The MLS is still down 6.7. The area is down 4.5. So when you just saw those numbers, right? It's not because we're pacing with the market. We are absolutely outpacing the market, and we're outpacing our area, right? Which means that we're taking more and more market share, which what that means for you guys is when you're going on these listing appointments, they're seeing Keller Williams Lake Minnetonka. They're seeing your name out there. They're seeing that Keller Williams is taking more market share than some of those other blue and red companies out there currently. So closed volume, we're up just shy of 1%. MLS is still down 5. The area is up 2.2. Listings taken, we're up 33%. The MLS is up 2% and the area is up 4%. Listings taken volume, we're up 40.5%. MLS is up 7.8 and the area is up 18.6. Listings sold, we are up 12%. The MLS is down 6.7%. And so is the area is down 4.5%. Listings sold volume, we're up 5%. MLS is down 5% and the area is up 2%. Contracts written, we're up 33%. Okay, so if we thought these numbers were positive this month, it's gonna just keep going, right? So we're up 33%, the MLS is only up 0.25%, and the area is up 2.1%. Is anyone excited about this?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people that did opportunities this month that have not done a deal. It's either their first deal or they haven't done a deal in quite a while, which means we're getting back into business. And the focus is really to start selling listings and closing on buyers. Contracts written, we're up 45.4, and then MLS is up 4.5, and the area is up 13.9. What do you guys think about these numbers, or what do you find from this? Rick?
So we've been talking about how do we have good numbers this month? What attributed to that? And I think the key variable is the discussions that we had in November and December here as an office. We converted to, prospecting, getting listings that we were gonna put on in February instead of waiting till spring. And the vast majority of probably, half of ours is listings that went on in February instead of spring. And it was because we communicated about what was happening in the market and we made an adjustment. So we're a dynamic office that way, constantly moving. So I'm saying that because now what we're doing today and what we're talking about today is critically important. Pay attention, do what leadership is recommending and other agents in the office are recommending that you do today so that you get these numbers again in 2 to 3 months, right?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's really going back to the basics. I mean, it is truly going back to the basics of being consistent with lead generation. And I don't care what you call lead generation. I don't care if you call them conversations. I don't care if you call them something meetups, but they have to be about real estate, right? I think when you say lead generation, everyone's like, ugh, we were talking about in the productivity group today. That is your number one job as a business owner, right? Because the other pieces of this job, which are customer care, negotiations, are not going to happen without lead generation. They're not. And if they do, that just means that they're not your clients, right? Because you haven't generated the lead. They might call you and say, I have this other agent, what do you think? right? And when that happens, I can guarantee you, your mindset on real estate lead generation is gonna change. So, what else? What else do we think about these numbers?
Office is growing. I think a big part of that increase is not necessarily that we're doing a crazy amount different.
Yeah.
I think we're adding agents and that's making a big difference in those. And I know some of my numbers are different than what they have been, you know, in previous months. So I know from me personally, some of that is there, but like the amount of activity I've been doing in the last 3 months is not quite as active as what I was doing last year.
Okay.
Like some of my closings were all from 9 months earlier.
Yeah.
It just happened to close this month and last month.
But I think that's fair, right? Is it's never like the now. Like if you're like, I need business now, it's going to be at least 90 days out before you see the fruits of any of that, right?
Sometimes 6 to 9 months out.
That's what I mean. It's like the now is not a reality, right? Like that's why if you're panicked, you need to double whatever you're doing, triple whatever you're doing, so that pipeline is bigger and bigger and bigger and more robust by October. I mean, that was the conversation we had yesterday morning with some of the top agents here is how can we either get our goal by October or that our pipeline is so huge by October that it's not the same like it felt last year. Because if we want to go back last year and look at patterns, right? Last year, October, it was like a dead halt and everyone panicked about their business. And it was like, where are we going to get business by the end of the year? And then it was like, okay, and what if my January is not great? So it's really about pre-planning. And I'm going to tell you, the weather is nicer. There's not as many people in this room right now. And I see a lot of photos about fun things that are happening. I'm not saying don't do the fun things, right? Like I am all in on summer, but a lot of times what happens in any of the teams, agents, solo people I'm coaching, all of a sudden they're like, man, I'm really slow. If the desserts, I don't know if they're on. We went over different trends in their business, right? I hope you don't mind me sharing this. And when we looked out 90 days, there's a specific thing. And I said, well, what are you doing in June? And they're like, we're getting the boat in the water and this and this and this, right? And it's like, if you ever look at multi-year trends, when you're in the business long enough, you can see when you put on the brakes or when things change in your life, right? You can see the difference of when lead gen went up and when lead gen went down, or if you're new construction, you can see when acquisition of land happens and when a lot of your closings happen. Mine was always May and it was always November, right? Like that's just the way that new construction worked for me. But those are the things to be in your business and realize what your own patterns are. And here's the other piece of that is go have fun, but talk about real estate. Like you can still go have fun in the summer, go for walks with people. I mean, Julie is so ecstatic about pickleball that she's like, I am doing 20 hours and I'm telling Mitch that I'm playing pickleball, right? But she's incorporating it with her, like the things she enjoys. So I just want to, these are awesome numbers and I'm not trying to be negative about it, but June and July, you sometimes put up, you know, you put on the brakes and you're doing other things. And then that shows up in October, right? In September and November. So if there's any time right now is really the time to double down. And if you want to get in an accountability group, you want to coach, reach out because that's what most people need, right? Is someone to hold them accountable during these times. Because it's really easy to go grab the boat, go golf a little bit, do whatever. Wendy.
I just want to say, when we are outpacing our area by 8 times in the listings taken, that's a huge number. And I don't think we can say it's just that we've added people. I think the people who are here are actually engaged in doing the work.
I would agree with that. I would agree that there's a whole different feeling in the last 6 months of agents that have been here for a while. Just in like participation and like really getting focused on their business. I would agree with that. I mean, we just saw the groups took 8, 7, 7, 5, 3, right? And that's not just the individual agents that are taking. Last month, the month before we did, they took a ton of listings on their own.
And I think that I would like to see us have like more leaning into the momentum and just keep feeding that fire
Yeah.
rather than getting so busy servicing it that we start to see a decrease, but to lean
Yeah.
into that and say, okay, we're at 8 times the market share that our area has. What's it look like if we go 10x?
You guys, how fun would it be to be the top office in our area? Because for a long time, it was a blue company for a long time. And then that blue company kind of got gutted by a new fancy company. That seems to be creeping up, right? But like, that would be so fun. And I don't know, I don't know the history completely all the way back, but I don't think we've ever been that office. And we are really close to being that office. Like when we keep pushing, we are so close to being that. And for me, it's a really amazing feeling. When I was at the Lakes office, we were this puny little 90 agent and we got also beat by that blue company back then. And we crushed them. And the feeling as an agent when that happens, when you can say I'm the #1 office in the area and the numbers actually show that and no one can fight that, it feels unreal, right? Because it's like, great, they might say that and here's the numbers. Because everyone says different things because they can manipulate numbers, but that number you cannot manipulate in any way, shape, or form. I'd like to be that. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris does. So Chris and I would like to be the #1 office in the area. I'm glad that we're all on board. Barry might want to be, who knows, like. Or, we could just be like #3 and that's fine. It's actually not fine. I'm like, it's not fine. Anything else on these numbers? All right, let's take a look at just our market center last year to this year. So closed units, we were at 75 last year and we're at 106 this year. Closed volume, we were at 36 and we're at 63 million.
Oh,
Yeah.
a little different.
Okay,
That's insane.
that's a huge difference. Okay, we took 26 listings last year, we took 54.
Wow.
Lydia knows.
Good work, Lydia.
Heather.
Listings taken volume, we were at 14 and we were at 31 this year.
Wow.
Listings sold, we were at 28 last year, we're at 43 this year. Listings sold volume, 16 versus 26.6. I also just want you to realize that everyone out there in the real estate industry thinks that we're gonna sell less homes this year and less volume, and yet we just crushed April. Like, if anyone listened to the vision speech by Gary, everything is gonna be lower this year than it was last year. So this is not, again, I don't want you to discount the work that's going into this, right? Because this is not what the market is doing. Not even close. If I would pull up agents, I know because I've looked it up, 55 to 65% of agents are down in their business this year. And I can guarantee 35% of them are gonna probably be out of the business this year. So this isn't just like, oh, wow, this is fun. Like, this is really, really fun. Contracts written, we were at 74 last year. We're at 106 this year. Contracts written volume, we were at 35 million. Now we're at 65 million. Chris,
Well, when you're done with that, I was just gonna say interest rates are higher this April compared to last April. And the one thing I just absolutely love talking about is interest rates with people. And they're like, yeah, but the interest rates are so high. I was like, it doesn't matter. People are still selling their home. People are still buying. Like they're making it work.
yeah.
And that's literally proof right there. So
I believe that this is happening because we are actually having real conversations with people. I don't know if you guys remember like 6 months ago when it was like, what do the conversations look like? how can you have the conversations with people to move? And it's the topics that are the challenges that we're working through. I call at least 50 dials a day. And I usually talk to 15 to 20 agents a day that are outside of this brokerage. Right? And you know what the number one thing that people say is, I don't know how to have conversations right now, and I feel like that's why my business is down. That's incredibly real. And a lot of people are super focused on the lawsuit. We're just doing business like we've always done business, and we're making sure that we know what our value is. And that's not gonna get better with other brokerages right now, right? Because the conversations, they don't even know how to have them. That's not bad. It's just that we're facing the conversations, which means that these numbers are gonna just keep going up. Which means that when you're sitting across the table from someone and they're like, I don't wanna pay X, Y, Z, and you know how to say that, you're going to get that business over anybody else. Guaranteed. I know I mentioned it, I was in a mastermind with top agents from multiple companies around here, and I asked them point blank, in the moment, tell me what your value is as a buyer's agent. You wanna know how many out of 8? And I'm talking 55 million plus is what these people do, right? Do you wanna know how many 8 could actually articulate their value? Truly articulate their value? How many? Take a guess. One agent out of those 8. And if you would have seen the look on their face, they were like, I don't know. Because they don't know. So when you're sitting across from someone and they ask you that, and that's the look that you have on your face, you are sure enough, you are not getting 2.7, 2.8, whatever percentage you decide to get as a buyer's agent, you're not getting it.
What does that tell you about the industry though, and what it takes to do business?
It's super low. I mean, it's a super low, like, threshold to get in, right?
It should be unbelievably inspiring to a newer.
That's what I'm saying, like, I joke, I kid you not, I think people think it's always like, oh, new agents or middle of the road agents. These agents I was in that room with sit on panels all the time that everybody goes to and listens to their advice, and I'm like, do not listen to it. Because they don't know how to run a business. And I probably get passionate and super serious with it, but I'm like, those aren't the things we need to be doing right now. The things you need to be doing is figuring out your value, learning how to lead generate, and getting back to the basics. That's what you need to be doing. You do not need to be going to any of these other trainings. I can promise you that. Because when you listen to some of these people, you have no idea what it looks like behind the curtain. No idea. And let me tell you, it does not look pretty. And they're just as scared as you are. Like, just as scared. So, if I were you, I'd be talking to the people in this market center, because these numbers show that we're actually doing business and having real conversations in a market that a lot of people are not excited about right now. Would you guys agree with that? All right, let's look at closed GCI. So this is fun, because this is money in your pocket. We were at 949 last year, and we hit a record for our market center at 1.626961. Did you guys just hear that? 1 month, the agents in this office had gross commission income of 1.626961.
That's insane.
That's crazy. I think if I look at the post, let me look at the post when you guys,
Doesn't next month even look better?
oh, it does.
And that contract's written line is probably like.
So last month, we had 1.6 million gross commission. We had 46% of our agents in production, okay? Writing contracts, in production, closings. Which meant out of that 26% of agents, right? If this doesn't make you feel excited, out of the people that were producing, on average, per agent, you were making $24,600 per agent that was in production. Does anybody else want to be part of that 1.6 million in GCI? Because that's a pretty incredible average. It's actually 66 agents that were producing. And on average, those 66 agents were making $24,000. I would like to make that per month. And then that flows into the market center, right? So last year we were at 2,691 for profit share. And that means that we profit shared out to you guys $9,691. Which, guys, that's been a big feat. And I know some of you weren't here when caps were split and different things were happening. Profit has been a hard one, right? Because as you guys see, we're a cap-based company, right? So when we've got groups and teams that are doing 11 million, 8 million, 7 million and producing a lot of a GCI and they're capped, we don't get anything on that, right? Like the market center in general, which means that profit share doesn't come out either.
Broker fees,
Broker fees, we do get that. There's a cap on that though too.
it's pretty high though.
Is it? I'm like, is it? Either way, that means that we're doing really well. Like the market center is healthy and the agents are, you guys are, I mean, it's really this, it's the hockey stick, right? It took some time, but like Wendy said, how are we going to capitalize on this? How are we going to keep the momentum going? How do you guys feel about it?
Encouraged.
Do you guys feel excited?
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's opportunity for everybody here for this?
Absolutely.
Okay, what else?
I feel like there's a lot of talk about the market's down and people crying about how bad the market is, and clearly it's not the market, it's you. Like you determine what you're gonna do, your activity. It's not the market, it's you.
Well, I mean, let's go back one slide. So, I mean, there's still positive numbers even in the MLS, right? So when I just gave the stats that I gave about agents that are down in their business right now, that is truly the case. It is you. And I know it's like a broken record. It goes back to what relationships you put yourself in. Are you constantly in relationship with your sphere, your past clients, your family? Are you putting yourself in new relationships? Are you making new relationships at open houses? Are you door knocking? I don't care where you make them. But if you don't, someone else will, right? So there's really no reason why that many people are that down in their business. And they're not down by 6%. I'm talking 30, 40% down in their business. And I could probably tell you why. They don't want to focus on the things that they need to focus on, and they want to hide behind all of the excuses that they have. And we all can have a lot of excuses. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I've got this. Oh, I've got this. If it's important, you'll make time. I can guarantee that. What are some ahas from the numbers today?
I think it's really helped us in the last couple of months. Is just focusing on the people that are ready now. Like, what are the conversations we've had with them to get them ready if they're on the buy side, pushing for them to get pre-approved, for them, they actually understand their buying power and what the numbers look like. But what are the pain points in the next 3, 5, 6 months that are gonna push them to get going now? So right now, we're focusing on the people that wanna be in new houses by next year and pushing them now. So we're always looking 3 months ahead, and what are those pain points? Like the summer gets overwhelming for a lot of people. Everyone starts thinking about moving and what it would look like, but we gotta focus on the people that are ready now and not get so caught up in people that just wanna have a conversation about it.
Well, and I think that's an important piece too, because I'm like, when you look, again, numbers don't lie. So if you don't use North Star or look at kind of trends in general, the last few years, right, there was not this random seasonality. like, because we weren't given a choice on that, right? It was like you just kind of pushed all the way through and, you know, people were doing things from home. They were on vacation year round versus just during the summer, right? Like, I think people now are focusing on different things where they're realizing they can work like away and still have a job and they can do different things, right? So for us, I don't feel like that piece as much as what we used to think happens from the clients. It happens because we do. We are like, oh, people don't want to buy now, or we aren't, you know, we're not as busy now. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. Can I ask a really point blank question? How many hours do each of you work? I just want to hear, just throw out some numbers. How many hours a week do you work? 60. 60? 60?
30.
30? I'm guessing some of the numbers aren't getting said because if we really reflect and we look at what our time is spent on, we can't qualify it as work. Do you guys agree with that? We all have a business? Is that our job? What I hear a lot is, I'm gonna go get a job. You have a job. You just don't like your job. But I can guarantee whatever job you're going to get is not gonna be any easier than what you're doing right now. Not saying it's easy, but the job's not gonna be easy either. Or you'll probably get fired unless you're doing a minimal job, right? So how about we actually reflect on what are we doing each day? And when we sit there and we say we're not part of that 66 agents that was getting 24 on average, 1,000 a month, is that because of our own actions? Like, who do we get to actually blame for that? And maybe everybody is truly working 40 hours, full 40 hours, and lead generating at least 10 hours each week. I'm gonna call BS. But if you do that, I can guarantee your business is gonna look different in 30, 60, and 90 days. Light years difference. And I'm not talking go have coffee with friends. I'm saying when you have coffee with friends, you're talking about real estate. Because if it's just to talk about life, that's not an appointment. Who wants their business to be completely different in 30, 60, or 90 days from now? Who's willing to start coming into the market center and lead generating in the morning? Actually lead generating in the morning consistently. I think if there's an opportunity for everybody in this market center is getting a group together that is committed. And when I say the word committed, I mean committed. Like you make your doctor's appointment and you don't miss it or you're going to get charged, committed. Okay? Let's find a group. They can all be different, but the commitment is whatever amount of days a week that you're willing to come in and lead generate and be committed to that. If it can't be 5 days, don't commit to 5 days. If you're like, hey, I'm only ready for 1, do 1 because I guarantee you weren't doing 1 last week. But if that's something you're interested in, shoot me an email and I'll put the groups together. But I think it'd be really helpful for everybody in this office, no matter what your production level is, to commit to that or commit to something. Who agrees? All right, what else?
I was actually looking into getting another job. Because business was so bad for me last year. And I would struggle with doing lead gen because I felt like almost like imposter syndrome, like how can I be reaching out to people when I'm not even doing any business? And I had to get out of my own head and out of my own way and just force myself to consistently keep getting up and doing the lead gen, even if I felt stupid doing it, even though it wasn't bringing in any money, even though I still felt like it wasn't going anywhere. And I'm just now starting to see things start to spin. And I still have to get out of my own head because I'm almost getting scared that so much is coming at me right now. It's true. Yeah. So much is coming at me right now. And I'm like, I'm by myself. I don't know if I can do, and you have to remind yourself that if you need to ask for help, you can ask for help. If you can't cover something, there's always somebody in the office so I have to not allow that to keep myself from lead generating. I need to keep going. I need to trust myself and I need to know my own value. I've got a listing right now getting ready to go live on Friday, and I've seen how much I've done for these clients, and I'm like, God, I wish I knew that when I went into the listing. I wish I carried that confidence with me in a listing appointment. The person who went into the listing appointment was somebody who hadn't done business here.
And it's gonna look different the next time you go into a listing.
Right. Like now I'm finding myself like talking to my husband at home going, gosh, they're lucky to have me. Like I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
It's been a
And he's
journey for
like,
you though.
He's like, realize it, walk in and realize that.
I had a supportive comment.
Sure.
So the way you're feeling is exactly how the Deserves felt for 3 years before they finally made the decision to hire someone. They took too long, obviously. And it's how Jacob Milton felt earlier this year before he decided to hire someone. So it's just something to take into consideration.
I'm not in the position to hire anybody yet.
That's leverage. though.
Down the
So
road,
it's-
yeah.
It's so important,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those
But it
things.
doesn't even have to be hiring though, even if it's transaction coordination, it doesn't even have to be hiring. Like, it can be transaction coordination, which takes off a huge amount of business. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it can be leverages in so many ways, and you're absolutely right.
Because you have to identify a way to scale your business now. Now that the business is there, well, how do you actually take care of it? How do you keep it growing, at the rate that it's coming in? And the only way to do that is to create some sort of leverage with people around you.
I truly believe that everyone in this market center can have successful business. But it's up to you to want that, and it's up to you to actually do the work and be committed to it. If I didn't feel that, I'd probably tell you. Pretty direct human being. I mean, ask Sean this morning. Sean, it got real for Sean this morning. And he was like, oh, okay, that's how we're gonna do.
Dollars if I don't do my.
He was like, oh, that's how goals go for consequences, but it's real, and it's from a place of care, right? If I didn't think you couldn't do it, I'd tell you. But there is no reason that 55% of our agents are not doing business each month. 0 reason. That's a choice. That is absolutely a choice. And you might not say, well, I didn't choose not to do business. Well, you did when you decided not to do an open house, or you decided not to lead generate, or you decided not to have the conversation, or you decided not to close in the appointment. That's a choice. I would say moving forward, choose wisely, right? And make the choices that are gonna move you forward. And before you make that choice, think for 1 second. Is this gonna get me where I wanna be? And if the answer is no, don't do it. All right, wants and needs.
I have some.
Oh, we gotta spin the wheel too.
Yeah.
We wanna, as wants and needs are happening, if your name's on this board, come up and get in line. Quietly,
And then whoever's seeing the wants and needs, speak loudly.
All right, Angie.
I have a buyer looking for a house in either Orono School District or Delano, but on the east side of the Delano School District, under 1.6. And be great if it had a pool. And then I have a client looking for a lease for up to 10,000 a month. They're pretty flexible. They want Wayzata, Bear Path.
They don't need gated then?
They don't need gated. That's what I was gonna ask you about today. Okay. Yeah. So, what-
Not gated up to 10,000.
yeah, yeah, they just like, they want that luxe feeling in a high demand desirable area. So, do you
Okay,
have anything or know of anybody?
what else? What else we got?
I've got one. I've got a withhold, in Orno, that 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 1 acre, 2-car, detached garage, 3,400, square feet.
Price.
And the price is 1.199.
Awesome. What else?
Street is that one on?
Oh,
I've got a listing going live this Friday. Sunnybrook neighborhood, West Tonka Schools, 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, extra rec room on the second floor laundry, and it'll be AKD.
What else we got?
Got one coming on 1st of June. It's withheld right now, so you could, if you want to, they're getting it ready. Eden Prairie, 5 beds, 4 baths. I forget how many, lots of square feet.
There's a lot of room to do whatever you need to do.
Being, I think, $925 off market, the pre-market price.
Awesome.
I also have a buyer. He's a first-gen home buyer and he's 74 years old. And I would love to find him a place. And he just needs a 1-bed, 1-bath condo, 160 or under, preferably Bloomington or close to. And has to have in-unit washer and dryer. So. Do you hear of anything, know of anything?
In Bloomington?
Bloomington or close to it within 10.
Here's the other thing, and I'm not saying maybe if someone has a buyer need and is willing to work with other people on door knocking, please connect, right? Because that gives opportunity for them to find a listing here if that's something that you don't desire to do, and it gives them opportunity to lead generate. So this is how we can work together as a team and as an office to lead generate with other opportunities from other people. Because I can guarantee not everybody door knocks for their buyers, but I know that people would appreciate it.
And I have a super easy flyer I can share with anybody if they want to door knock for a buyer. You know, I said that you can add your stuff.
All right, anybody online that was just was chatting?
Yes, I have one that's going to be coming soon today. It'll be available next week, Bloomington. It'll be listed at 460. 3 bedrooms on the same level, a possible 4th bedroom downstairs currently used as an office. It's 460,000. It's in the southern part of Bloomington. The address is 10642 Yosemite. And then I have a very interesting house coming on. They want to do a quiet listing because there's some other houses for sale in their neighborhood. And we're working on the price. It'll be probably around 1.4, and it'll be in Shorewood. And that'll be 4-bed, 4-bath. And it's got about 4,400 square feet.
I have one coming on in South St. Paul. It's 2 beds, 1 bath, a little over 900 square feet. So it's a small house, but it has new siding and a new roof and newer windows. And that one will be coming on around 215, 220 next month sometime.
We just put one on today, coming soon in Lino Lakes. It's a 5-bed, 4-bath, 2-car, 575 price point. gorgeous. We have one next week coming on at New Hope, the single family, 4-bed, 2-bath, 2-car, we updated 100. Then we have a townhome in Maple Grove coming on at 450. That's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2-car. It's kind of a detached townhome slash single family, so.
Where's that?
Maple Grove.
Awesome.
And how much is the Maple Grove one?
450.
All right, as usual, do any wants and needs, to Lydia. We will have an email out by the end of the day. And then come on up for spin the wheel. I see people in here that are ready to spin. Do you have the money? I'm like, do you have the money? And then come outside. And then come outside for some.
And there's one up on the side, Wendy's, the Wendy's side. That's where the ALC is really.
Got it. All right. What do you guys got? 7. Okay, someone's got to help me. Keep track. 5. Are we clapping? We're clapping.
Oh, so much fun.